everybody? Welcome to the ninth week, I believe, of the SpyParty competitive league. We got another great set of games to cast here. I got a couple of great casters here with me. Opie Wrights
Why, hello there.
and Dells.
Hello.
Welcome to the casting team, Dells.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
We got a game from Obsidian, which is a division we haven't casted too much yet.
Yeah, there's been a lot of drops in Obsidian, unfortunately, so not too many games week to week that we can pick from. However, we are picking up a week 4 match today between AscendBeyond and tflameee. Get them casted and get some more Obsidian represented here on the stream.
And then
And there are a lot of people doing really well in Obsidian, a few players with really good win streaks going, and AscendBeyond is one of them, going undefeated so far with 2 matches, both wins, 7-1 and a 7-0.
Okay, that's pretty decisive. We'll see how this one is. Then we got Iron, Ranmelia, and the Smitty. And the most intense one will be probably Ponoob and Bananaconda. Ponoob has been undefeated for a while now, for a few seasons.
Not just undefeated, but lossless.
Yeah.
Or not lossless. Not just undefeated, but like all wins is what I'm trying to say. No draws even.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And we'll get right into it. The first match. Let me get up some picks and bans first.
AscendBeyond versus tflameee.
Yep. Let's see. Here we go. I got picks and bans right here. The first ban coming out of tflameee is Veranda.
All right.
Possibly a targeted ban.
Yeah, tflamee's bans this entire season have been seemingly pretty targeted. Lots of different bans: aquarium, ballroom, library bans, for example.
The next ban is Tayen.
Yeah, that's the only venue that AscendBeyond has banned yet. So.
Well, apparently they do not like Tayen. And of course, this was a week 4 match, so Aquarium was not available yet.
Yes, so, no Aquarium, unfortunately, to be picked.
Oh well. Well, maybe we'll get them in the later matches. But the first pick out of tflameee, it's kind of interesting. Banned Veranda and picked Library.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
I mean, there are quite different maps. I'd much rather play Library than Veranda, generally.
Yeah, Veranda is definitely a lot more crowded, and it can be harder to keep track of everything, even though it's all on screen at a time. Whereas on Library, you can sort of zoom around as Sniper and, generally get a good sense of the things that you want to be seeing.
Yep. All right. Next up, we've got the second pick out of tflameee. Actually, I didn't even do the first pick out of AscendBeyond yet, which is Gallery.
That's not too surprising. Definitely likes picking Gallery.
It's a good map.
Yeah, and tflameee likes Gallery as well, and generally does pretty well on it, so this is a map that both players will probably feel comfortable with.
All right, the next pick. Big fan of this pick. Unfortunately, that means tflameee lost the Courtyard Chicken and picked not High Rise, but Courtyard.
Why do you say not High Rise, but?
Because I had selected High Rise first.
All right.
Yep. And then the final pick from AscendBeyond is a very standard Ballroom.
Yeah, very standard second venue choices here. Courtyard and Ballroom being, some of the most classic SpyParty venues around. And guess we'll get into it, right?
Yeah, well, let's get right into it. Let me get rid of these picks and bans and bring up a scoreboard here. And I am good to go.
All right.
Yeah. I see tflameee on Spy as teal on Library.
I see that as well.
Great. That's what I have. 3, 2, 1, playing it. So T-Flame is immediately starting by walking over to a window. Now it looks like we're going to be chasing our seduction target across the room, and he lands in conversation, and we are able to snuggle in right next to him, looking to get our first flirt here. The ambassador is near us as well, but he is walking away now, so we're not going to be able to take a quick bug. And the flirt comes out to a nice 34%.
Yep, 34%, good start. Not a green test, but you really want to get those flirts early. Even if you have good mission progress in a lot of games, what happens? What can happen is you get stuck on flirt, and suddenly you need to rush that right at the end of the game, and it just does not work out very well a lot of the time. Obvious flirt at the very end of the game is, anyone can catch that. So.
Yeah, and the ambassador came right back to that window pad and left their briefcase there, giving us a perfect opportunity to go and pick it up since we were in the conversation right next to it. It looks very natural and gets us a nice early fingerprint.
Yeah, some people would say that that briefcase is obligated if you are going to path. So definitely not that suspicious here. We did enter next to the ambassador, perhaps looking for a bug there, but we didn't take it. We are moving around quite a lot. We're entering these conversations, and we're kind of just hopping right out of them. If AscendBeyond cares that much about general activity from any given character, it's going to be a little bit telling that we've just been moving around so much.
Yeah, we entered that conversation. It was useless, and then we left it really quickly. And we just did the same thing here. The double agent was in this conversation, but they left, and so T Flame left again. And that's 2 quick leaves from conversation as we now enter the bookshelf to get another flirt, bringing it all the way up to 85%, which is really nice to have.
Yeah, now you only need one more flirt from literally anywhere you could flirt from. As long as you do not red test it, you will get the flirt done, and that basically means your mission is done. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and
not done, but it is essentially done.
it was very quick progress from T Flame again because Smallman got to that shelf before us. We went in for the flirt and then we left before Smallman was done. So we didn't spend a lot of time there. We're going in for this statue which had a fingerprint and we swap it as well and getting inspects. Hopefully we don't 3-cycle here.
Yeah, you know what I said about that, the flirt just basically being done? Ooh.
Yeah, wow, we just got shot. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
with the flirt being done is you could have had time to maybe, well, not done, but really high. You could have had time to pick really good spots to do your hardtails, but you just went in for
Yeah.
a swap at a time when it maybe wasn't necessary.
Something tells me that swap was not intended.
Probably not.
T-Flame is in chat, but I mean, this was a few weeks ago, so maybe they don't quite remember, but there's a very good chance that was just meant to be an inspect.
Yeah. And what I was saying about, flirt being done, it's not actually done. It's like you need one more flirt, but if you're trying to finish like really fast, having to go into a conversation and get a talk off can actually slow you down a lot, even if in a normal finishing scenario it wouldn't be that big of a deal. So T-Flame gets shot by AscendBeyond, who, by the way, in their previous 2 matches before this one, has had a 100% sniper win rate, and that seems to be continuing so far here in this match.
All right, moving on. We got Irish as the spy, way off in the far corner, being accosted by Taft and Tex here.
That is a really funny starting position. 3,
All right.
2, 1, playing it. So we immediately take control from the AI. We don't want to be around those 2 guys, but it looks like we're just going to wait at a window pad. We are checking our watch, adding time, and it doesn't...
This time that's interesting here because we step into Windows again, which you really don't want to do after a time ad. You kind of want to see if you can get away with it completely clean. And the longer you're at Windows, the more time they have to think, hey, there's been a time ad. T-Flame, he actually streams quite a bit, and he has an eye tracker on his stream. And you'll notice a lot with his eye tracker that he watches the time quite a bit, so we'll see if he notices this time ad coming in right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any highlights or lowlights coming off based on the time ad. We walk by the ambassador right behind the pillar and we bug them. Our arm comes out, but was it behind the pillar and not seen?
It was, and we've also got a green purloin bouncing around right now, so this is a lot of mission progress pretty quickly from SpyParty here. We do bounce out of this conversation, so we're kind of active, but there's just not there's just a lot of progress, and we get low lit because we're across the party from Toby here, and that's big.
Yeah, I think, even without this low light, this would have gone really well for AscendBeyond with a bug and a purloin done so quickly. And with a low light here, I mean, all AscendBeyond has to do is just finish missions. And quite frankly, with the time ad, there's a lot of time to do that. And also, since AscendBeyond got really far away from the purloin, we can assume that they don't think they're suspected for it. So I don't think they're going to be very tentative here. They're probably going to finish, even if they don't know
The
they're low lit.
AscendBeyond, unfortunately, getting a little bit rejected by the ST. The age-old question of should I actually go to this window pad to try to flirt? What if they leave? Unfortunately, did not get that flirt off, but we do have over 3 minutes left in this game here, and that's just a lot of time to get that. Wow.
And we're doing a microfilm transfer right in the middle. That's sort of the hardest one to avoid being seen at because you're right in the middle and the sniper is going to be moving past it no matter where they're sweeping. But we're a low light, so we're not being watched and we can get away with it.
Well, actually, that center can be surprisingly strong if there's not much activity in the area, particularly. Oh, a cough as well. It's completely off screen. It doesn't matter. We're also still a low light. But as I was saying with the microfilm, if there's not much activity in the center for that, the sniper is not going to be resting their laser in the center. You'll notice that tflamee's moving back and forth between the left and the right sides of the party really quickly. So if you're doing an animation microfilm right there, it's
This
actually quite hard to see.
animation happened right while the laser was on us, but it wasn't seen.
Yeah, it wasn't
Again, probably
seen.
though there were.
Again, we are a low light, and the SDA kind of walked right up behind us to cover our armor a little bit. Here's the flirt and the countdown, and there's no way this shot gets taken.
No.
All right. Take a peek at that bug, see if there was any chance of catching that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
was
not from
definitely trying to have that bug happen behind the pillar, so the arm wouldn't
Yeah, I mean you can
be visible.
definitely see it in tflamee's view, but you really got to be looking right at it.
Not really actually. He moves right over to the left, right as like you would be able to see it past the pillar.
Well, I can see it.
Oh,
Under the
maybe it's
in the
'cause I'm not
replay
on
sniper
full
claim.
screen.
It's
Maybe,
just barely
yeah.
there. You can see the arm coming back.
Yep, you're right. I wasn't in full screen on the replay.
Yeah, in the small box you can't see it, but yeah, full screen just barely. But yeah, if you're not looking exactly for that, you're
definitely very aggressive spy play from AscendBeyond, and gets it passed, and so we're gonna move into the next one.
All right. Yep.
In 3, 2, 1, playing. So, again, still 100% sniper win rate from AscendBeyond here, so looking to continue the 100% win rate. I know I love keeping 100% win rates, if you can, but it's definitely something difficult. Literally one loss on any sniper game will ruin it. Let's see if tflame can knock it off here. And not much happening early in this game. So let's talk about the last one. The last game, AscendBeyond had a very strong early start, with 2 hard tells done immediately and just got low lit for it and finished. It's actually pretty simple. We get the fingerprint off here from tflame, which is good. For oh, looks like Dell's DC'd.
Yeah, I'll take his place for a moment here. Yeah, I think
he was I was wondering why there was no chiming in for a moment there. But no worries. We'll be fine for just a moment as Dells gets back into the call.
Oh, hey, welcome back. You sound better now. Go for it.
Great. 3, 2.
Oh wait, we already started. Let's.
Oh gosh. Oh god.
Let's rewind. Let's start back at the beginning.
Oh no, I didn't know that you would DC back that far.
Yeah.
I thought you had started the game.
He right when the previous match ended. So then when you said hi to me and you said let's
You're getting a little bit robot-y
now.
You're
still a bit of a robot.
Oh no. Oh no.
Maybe Dell's just is a robot.
That's spooky right there.
Right. I'm not sure where did you stop it. I'm at about 312.
I'm at 310 myself.
All right. Want to just start and try it again in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Are we at 310?
Yeah, just right there.
Okay.
Close enough. Anyway.
Well, we'll hopefully get Dells back in here
Yeah.
after something is fixed. But in the meantime, we're gonna finish off this game. T-Flame kind of getting a little bit of progress here. Not nearly as much progress as we saw AscendBeyond get in the last game. But we do have a fingerprint and partial progress on our Subduce. Only one more at close range will take it.
Looks like we can get a contact coming here, maybe. A lot of
not
moving
too many
around.
people in conversation.
Yeah.
So it might not be the best time for a contact at this moment. But we are idling in this conversation. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna take the contact. We're gonna leave and we're gonna split. We don't get the low light for the split, even though we tried to get the split. We broke animation to do it. So not low lit, which is really the objective of that split right there. There's no reason. There's no covering up a hardtail at all right now. It's just low light baiting, and we
Great,
do
and
not get
I'm
it.
back.
All right, welcome
Hey,
back.
okay, well, welcome back.
We are being offered a drink by Toby,
Alright.
but we're rejecting it. We're not taking a Purloin right now.
What time are you at?
I'm
Nils?
at 1:57.
That's close
I'm
enough.
5 seconds. Yeah, I'm 5 seconds ahead of you, but
I did a good job estimating.
good job, good job. In the meantime, we've got T-Flame still only got one mission done completed here. That partial progress that I mentioned earlier is just barely getting finished here. But we've
And
only got
now
a
we
minute
are
and 30.
getting a Purloin, and it's a green test. We're immediately bailing from the conversation so that we don't get any suspicion for it, and the laser was on the other side, so I don't know if this reject was noticed.
Yeah, definitely a strong Purloin there. Probably seen, but does AscendBeyond know who did the deed?
No, the
Still,
sniper laser is just moving around, a little bit scattered, looks confused, not sure who did it, no highlights, no lowlights coming off for this Purloin.
yeah, no, and I don't have any reason to believe that AscendBeyond is completely on top of it here. But sometimes when you don't get any highlights or lowlights for the Purloin or for something else, maybe they're just completely sure about who the spy is. But
No,
in
we
this
picked up the
case, it doesn't
briefcase,
look like it.
and we took one little step with it, but we are getting the fingerprint. Looked like T-Flame wasn't sure whether to return or not, but then goes in for the return once the ambassador settles in conversation.
And now we need one more mission, and looks like side statues, not center statues. We're not trying to do inspects. Instead, looks like we're going for a swap here. And it's a
And that's
green
exactly what
swap.
happened. Green
AscendBeyond
swap.
is looking for it, staring at it, wondering if this swap is going to happen. It's a green swap here, and T-Bone's going to pick up the highlight. I don't know if this was the right decision.
No, I
There's
mean,
going to
the
be
timer is going to hang now. No one's going to get to it before overtime, and that means that AscendBeyond is going to know that a statue is
and
being
the
swapped.
Lowlight picks it up as well, and oh no,
Yeah,
AscendBeyond manages to suss it out. I think if we go to just center statues there, we can pick up the win.
Yeah, I don't know if what the time was like for inspect though. It was a bit low. It would have triggered. It would have probably still triggered overtime and been suspicious.
If you don't hit greens, probably yeah.
I kind of like. I mean, I like what T-Flame did here. Just a white swap would have been better.
Well, you still will get on shot for a white swap. AscendBeyond was looking right for it. So
Yeah,
either swap.
Depending on how you. Actually, I probably would have gone for one of the other side statue because it's a little smaller, hard to see it swap, and you have to hope it goes to a head.
Right. Anyways, that means that AscendBeyond is now 3-0 on library, which I believe was T-Flame's pick. So.
yeah. I mean, that one could have gone the other way for T-Flame with just a little bit maybe better pacing at the end, maybe time to get those inspects, since it looked like he got away with the Purloin clean, but unfortunately just couldn't finish it out without getting shot.
Partly, I think that wasting time with that briefcase return was a little unnecessary. Would have given you a little more time to finish inspecting.
All right.
But anyway,
and that means
yeah,
All right,
to the fourth game of
so-
library.
Yep.
Next game, we have AscendBeyond as Wheels, spying the
Yep.
second time. Final game on Library. 3, 2, 1, play in it. So
And
AscendBeyond looking to go 4-0 on Library here. We're immediately starting by entering next to our Seduction target. We do have a drink, and we just immediately sip it. We don't want to be holding on to that.
51% flirt's a really good start right now.
And we're immediately ditching the conversation. That's something you can get away with on Library because the laser's not really on you and it might not be noticing who's entering and leaving conversation quickly.
Yeah, and
Picked up the pace again, going for the microfilm transfer. And
Wheels and
as you were
microfilm is
saying,
very nice.
this time the
Will
ambassador and Toby are right there in the middle, so that is where the camera would be watching, but the microfilm still doesn't seem to be seen as we didn't get a highlight or a shot for it.
Yeah, it's not seen. It's a green Wheels microfilm facing away from the camera. That is probably the best microfilm in the game, even if you're looking right at it. So Ascend Beyond definitely playing to his character a little bit here. And I don't think Ascend Beyond's ever really going to be punished for balancing out of these conversations like he's been doing for the past couple
And we
games.
have a green purloin going off. We were in that conversation just waiting for Toby to come to us, and as soon as he did, we took the green purloin and we are bolting out of there. And the reject chain is still going. Someone else in the conversation rejected it.
Yeah, and this has really been kind of this is kind of the exact same thing we saw last game. Lots and lots of early progress, especially on hardtails, and it's working out for Ascend Beyond here. Two
Yeah, we did the
hardtails
other
down. Oh,
microfilm while the purloin was going off on the opposite end of the map.
and can you say deja vu? We pick up a lowlight after two early hardtails on library.
Yeah, and that's just because we're seeing a lot of these green purloins here, and then the spy just dashes to the other corner of the map. And, it's an effective tactic. Some snipers might look for it, notice, oh, who's running away from a reject, but, it's hard to keep track of on a 5-8.
Yeah, and
Oof.
unfortunately, the biggest suspect for the for the purloin, as we saw with T-Flame taking their safety off on this AI earlier, goes to center statues and picks up a bullet, making it giving Ascend Beyond the advantage of 4-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I mean, it's understandable. If you're feeling behind because of a purloin, you're not sure who did it, you have a suspect for it, and then they go to center statues, it's definitely an understandable thought process to take a shot on them.
it was Papa Danger one of the rejectors? I can't really tell. Doesn't seem like it. I don't know what it was about him that was. Oh yeah, he was. That's right.
Yeah, he got the drink offer right after we did
Yeah,
because,
you're
we
right.
were in conversation next to him because he was the
So
seduction
yeah, so
target.
I mean that it just there's only so much you can do with that.
Yeah, and that means gallery, and
Yeah.
this is Ascend Beyond's pick, and a lot of our casts have actually seen
Ooh, I like what
players
I'm
not.
seeing already.
A lot of, as I was saying before, Kletos liked Smallman. Um, a
There you
lot of
go,
our casts have
T-Flame.
seen a lot of our casts have seen players not do great on their own picks, but then bring it back on the enemy's pick, which is pretty interesting. And we'll see if Team Flame can make that happen right here. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, and Smallman is a particularly good pick on gallery because it's very, very easy to hide behind things. Like this spot that T-Flame's going to with the green bookcase, if the
Basically
conversation
invisible.
fills up, it's very hard to see Smallman there. And the conversation wasn't full when we went, but it is filling up now, and we are going to go for the microfilm,
It's
hopefully
completely
not
invisible.
visible to the
It's
sniper.
just it is not visible, and I don't even know if Ascend Beyond saw us there at the bookcase. We were covered up kind of by the SDA.
And we're immediately going in for the briefcase. That's a lot of activity. There is a fingerprint on it. We get it. We do a little bit of a weird stop at the pad, and we're chasing the ambassador who starts to move, and we stop at the right time and put it down. Hopefully, no suspicion for that.
Yeah, we'll pick up the threat from the briefcase. Now we're picking up statues, so lots of kind of half progress going on.
Yeah. And it's just a lot of activity. We went from the bookcase to the briefcase into statues. And that can work. The only issue is we
Oh,
haven't
we're going to
gotten any
statue to statue.
flirt progress. Wow. Statue to statue. I mean, at that point, you're just daring the sniper to shoot you. And Smallman does have a lot of strategies available on this map other than just statue to statue. Some particularly good ones are, waiting at the back of the conversation circle where you won't be visible to do a bug or a purloin.
Yeah, unfortunately, Seduce is quite the iffy mission on Gallery. It's very easy to have your seduction target just kind of run away from you. We do get that flirt before the ST leaves, just barely. So we've got that little
Wow.
bit of progress, I
If
guess.
we hadn't done an insta-talk there, we would not have gotten that flirt and we would have been really in trouble. And to be honest, we could still be in trouble. It is hard to finish that flirt. You might have to chase the seduction target around. And also, she's pretty slow, so it'll always take her time to get wherever she's going.
Yeah, and Gallery, definitely, it's just a large venue. It's deceptively large. It's kind of, not seemingly that large, but when you have to walk outside to do something and then walk back inside, that can take up a lot of time, especially for a slower character. And
Yeah.
Smallman is not exactly the fastest character. He's not completely slow. He's no orange dress or pearls, but we do.
We are walking into the other bookshelf now, probably looking to finish the microfilm. We are at the back. The sniper is zoomed out, watching the ambassador in the front as a highlight is next to them. So it's a really good time to do this because the sniper was watching to see if General was going to bug the ambassador there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that means we only need to get flirt done and contact done. But we only get 91% on the flirt, and contact is notoriously, again, just like flirt, with only 2 conversations on the venue, contact is notoriously difficult to get off sometimes on Gallery, and we have an STA in with us. We don't know it, but we can kind of surmise that there is an STA here, so the double agent cannot join us right now. So we only have 30 seconds left to get these missions done, and
And
I don't
Toby's
think we're gonna
offering
have.
us a drink. We might just purloin because we need to get a mission done. And it looks like that's
Yeah, that's
exactly
a
what
white
Toby's
chest, but we
doing
don't
here,
have the
right
flirt
on
done.
screen. And we get shot for it.
Yeah, that was not a good position to be purloining, especially
Yeah.
like Smallman's one weakness is the purloin, specifically because of Toby's requirement to bend down. It makes it so obvious that a drink's being offered to Smallman.
Yeah, and that was just a desperation move because the contact wasn't happening and the flirt wasn't finished. Even though we made good progress with it, we got 3 flirts in. The fact that we were off at those statues and all the mission sites at the beginning and not starting our flirt ended up coming back to bite us.
Yeah, I mean, we could have bugged. We could have. Yeah, I mean, bug probably would have been the better option for Smallman, but unfortunately, that's what happens when you hear those beeps. You just feel like you got to do something, and unfortunately, it didn't work out.
And AscendBeyond continues the streak, going 5-0 so far in this match. And again, 100% sniper win rate still, and
Wow.
in no danger of losing it in this game because they're playing the spy.
Yeah, and even then, AscendBeyond has only lost 1 game as Spy so far in the season. So it's not quite 100%, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, and that means AscendBeyond in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So it looks like we immediately took control. We had an option to enter conversation with the double agent, but there was no one else there, so we decided it wasn't really a good time. We tried to chase our seduction target over to the painting, but they leave before we can get the flirt, and instead we're just going to do a purloin right here in the front. And that's interesting. Usually the purloin is going to happen at the back in the conversation, so the sniper might not have been looking for it, and it doesn't look like T-Flame was on top of it. No reaction so far.
Yeah, no reaction, and we might be trying to gulp this. Yep, gulp is happened. I think we're being followed by the laser a little bit. Oh my!
Oh no. It didn't look to me like T-Flame had seen the purloin happen. The laser was, off looking at the back conversation, zoomed in, but it looks like he must have suspected the gulp when he saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
and
my
that
my
means
guess is just he saw a person finishing a drink next to Toby, and that was just enough. I mean, I'm surprised that it was, like there's a good chance he saw the drink take earlier, so he was looking there. So
And that means
SpyParty got pretty lucky because of the way Toby turned and walked straight away from it. You can't really see that the list is gone for that time.
yeah.
But then
Yeah,
you definitely saw the drink finish and going, wait, you can't be done with the drink that quickly.
Yeah,
another
and
thing that could have been sort of unfortunate for AscendBeyond there is that where Teal stood at that painting pad right out of the conversation, even if you didn't see the initial purloin all the way near the doorway, you could have just thought, oh, could Teal have taken it while in conversation and then just taken 2 steps over to gulp?
Yeah,
Because that is something spies do as well.
indeed.
yeah, lots of things.
Either way, that was a
happening
very
there.
good shot.
Very good shot from tflame. Breaks the win streak from AscendBeyond here in this match, and now looking to try to bring it back in our second half of Gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
T-Flame playing as one of the twins this time, and we're starting off by entering an empty conversation, but we leave in the middle of our idle animation. We could have just waited a moment longer and left, but probably not
Yeah.
something the sniper is going to notice at this point really early during chaos time.
Yeah, there's just not much to be noticed.
Ooh, we got caught on a plant, and before I could say, oh, I don't know if the sniper noticed it or not, we got a highlight for it. Probably not super noticed, or else there would have been a shot, but maybe just something like, out of the corner of my eye, it looked like that twin just sort of stopped for a second. We get our flirt, and then we immediately head back inside, and that's something good to do on Gallery where it can be hard to get good mission progress. The double agent is in conversation, so we might want to go get that contact while we can,
We did
but
pick up a
instead we're just
highlight though.
waiting.
Yeah, from the I assume the plant earlier.
Yeah, that was definitely from the plant. It came off right when we entered the conversation.
Yeah,
And so
and
we're
that
entering with the double agent now. Conversation in front is not completely full, but it's filling up a little bit. Might want to wait for a few more people to enter before we do a contact, and it looks like that's what T-Flame is thinking as well, since he's holding it for a moment.
double agent lead us though, so not happening. And tflame with 70% mission progress, and we've picked up the highlight. One other thing to consider about that highlight is perhaps it might just be to differentiate the twins. Some people do highlight for that, and it can be very unfortunate if you are playing twins.
And the contact is coming off now.
This is
Definitely a
quite the nice
better
contact
time.
for sure.
Some lowlights coming off. 1, 2, 3. Looks like some lowlights were available that weren't taken from people walking along the side. AscendBeyond worried about potential splits, and we are stepping in to get our first inspects now. And again, the problem is we are high-lit, so it's just going to be a lot easier to notice that this high-lit twin is finishing inspects if we go back for a second one later.
Yeah, and I think that inspects can kind of be a crutch for newer players. A lot of the time, I went through the same phase as well, where if inspects were available, you did inspects, because guess what? They're a soft tell mission, and you don't actually have to, and you don't have to do any kind of hard tell to get them done.
The ambassador is standing right next to us. Are we going to go for a bug here at the painting pad? We start to walk away. We try to plant a bug, but it doesn't take. We weren't close enough, and Smallman had already started walking.
The bug was actually earlier when Smallman was about to walk by us.
Yeah,
Looks
Smallman
like.
unfortunately got redirected by other AI. It would have taken, but other AI said no.
And
Looks
we
like we
just
got.
get shot for going back to
Yeah,
statues.
I'm
Looks like it
guessing.
might have been a shot for the pad as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing this.
Or for the path rather.
Yeah, yeah. You can see he passed as if he's going. Okay, so he goes here. Then he leaves fairly quickly, but yeah, he does this pretty weird little loop around, like he was trying to get in closer to the seduction target, but could not. So he decided he wasn't going to do it, and yeah, yes. AIs would generally take the most direct route possible to a spot. So if they were going to statues from here, they would just go straight through the door. They would not do loop-de-loop.
Yeah. And that means that it's match point for 5 games in a row for AscendBeyond here.
Yep.
And AscendBeyond could lock up, guaranteeing that their sniper stays at 100% win rate right here, right now, if they win the spy game. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We're starting
And
off
I
as. Oh, go ahead.
no, I just love this stat. 100% sniper win rate is so much fun. 100% anything is fun, or 0% anything is fun. Just because like there are no outliers. It's just this happening, right?
Yeah, and
There's
you could say, oh, it's a low sample size. They've only played, a few sets so far, but to still have that rate even after a few sets of, playing at least over 7 games each is still really, really impressive.
yeah, exactly. It takes more than rather it only takes one
Yeah.
oh
Wow,
oh.
safety off on hair, and
It
meanwhile
looked
we were just
like
outside doing the micro.
so what that looked like to me is Oprah has a green book in hand, and when when she went to pick up that briefcase, it looked like she was going to return the microfilm to the wrong to return the book to the wrong bookcase, and we almost get the shot off for it, but luckily T-Flame holds just long enough to see that, okay, this is fine, this is actually just a briefcase, and does not take the missed shot to end the set.
Yeah, it's a really interesting situation, and spies have to be aware of it. I've seen a spy get shot before for going to the briefcase while it's at the wrong bookshelf in that same exact situation. We are being
Yeah.
offered a drink by Toby right now. We're not going to take the purloin. We've made half the progress on our microfilm because we took the book from Blue, walked all the way outside, did the animation transfer, returned it to Blue. So, we got away with it unseen, but it has been a minute and a half now, and all we have is half the microfilm and a small flirt. We are going to get a little bit more on our flirt now. Still a white test, though, so we're going to need 2 more flirts unless we green it. So we are falling a little bit behind on progress, and that's just what happens when you do the animation transfer like that.
Yeah, and this is a little bit unorthodox from AscendBeyond here. Usually, rather, so far we've been seeing a lot of just aggressive early progress, and it's been working. But instead, here we don't even have a mission done yet. We just have 96% on flirt and half of a microfilm done.
Yeah, and we're seeing a
AscendBeyond,
little bit of that aggression come in there as we stepped in with our seduction target, got the flirt, immediately left, and now we're walking right back to her to get the other one. That's something you can get away with in the front conversation on gallery because it's not being watched as closely. We even got stuck on the plant on our way in, and then we did the same thing. We're bugging the ambassador now. Here's the aggression. That's a spot where it's really easy to see the bug, and it looks like a shot maybe being lined up here.
well, the T-Flame was zoomed in, and the zoom did not include the ambassador for much of the bug, so it looks like it's not seen, and there's that aggression. As you said, just a lot of missions being done at one point, and now we've got 3 missions done blisteringly fast, and we're not even a highlight for it.
Wow, yeah, I mean, with that microfilm, it wasn't even a matter of waiting for the right time. We just entered the shelf, did the microfilm immediately, jammed the book in, and got out of there. So Ascend Beyond correctly identified that they were behind on time, and they immediately shifted gears, and it's working.
Yeah, but we still need one more mission, and the double agent just is not obliging, will not stick themselves into that large conversation there.
Are we going to
Might try to
request a
go for a
drink and purloin?
contact.
That's
Oh,
the only
looks like
option. We're requesting a drink. We're going to do a purloin. Even if
double
we
agent
get it,
joins us
go
though.
into overtime.
Oh no, it's a red test!
We're coughing! Oh no, it was right on screen. Right on screen. Of course it was because Toby was behind us. That's exactly where the sniper would be watching. You can't, that's a bad time to choose to cough, Joking, because of course you don't choose it. It is a red test.
I mean, you could choose it. It's not a good choice generally, but could intentionally.
No, and just a really interesting thought process from Ascend Beyond there, going for a desperation purloin and then realizing, no, wait, the double agent entered. I can contact instead.
Yeah, one quick
And
thing
then
I'm noticing, the sniper cam from T-Flame pretty much exclusively zoomed in on the back of the map. Like if you do, you pretty much do anything you want in front and be totally fine.
Yeah, and that's exactly
yeah,
what Ascend Beyond did. Those flirts were so aggressive.
and I just think that
Enter, flirt, leave.
if that wasn't a red test, Ascend wins, because this contact is so good for many of the highlight that T-Flame has. Unfortunately. just doesn't work out.
All right. Anyway, at least we get to enjoy at least one round of Courtyard.
Enjoy, of course.
Yes. Experience.
All right. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We're not allowed to say that Courtyard is spy biased. Noob isn't on the cast this time.
So tflame is Irish this time. We're starting off by entering a useless conversation, and we immediately decide we don't want to be there, and we leave. Seems to be a trend that tflame does a lot, enters a conversation and walks out of it really quickly once he realizes there's nothing there.
AscendBeyond has been doing the same thing. Neither of them have been punishing it, so there's no reason not to do that just to get the pacing better.
Toby offered us a drink. We rejected it really quickly. But again, on Courtyard, that might not be something the sniper is necessarily looking for. It's pretty easy to camp the missions on Courtyard and keep a really good eye on the guest list, the ambassador, and the statues. So you might not feel you need to be watching for people, leaving conversation quickly, rejecting quickly. We have a contact coming
This is
off
really
here.
nice contact. We got, what, 2, 3 low lights for it, and real BB for most of the party. That's an absolutely fantastic Courtyard contact. The only way you could get that better is just everyone being in for real BB, and that's just not gonna happen very often.
Yeah, and it looks like the double agent also left really quickly afterwards, so if the sniper was a little bit delayed on trying to figure out who had real BB, that could confuse things even more. We're picking up a highlight, but it's just for going to statues. It's a pretty traditional system for highlights on Courtyard since you only need one set of inspects to
Oh
finish it.
no! We inspected the held statue, and then we break our own seduction by walking away. T-Flame kind of messing up their own mission progress here. Instead of having flirt done and statues done, we're sitting with half of the progress on both of them.
Yeah, and the only way that can work out for you is if you go back to statues and the sniper thinks, well, Irish was already at statues earlier. She has no need to go a second time, if they don't remember that there was
Oh
someone
no, and
next
now
to
it's a
you.
white flirt, so we don't get the 100% that would have been guaranteed by the green earlier. And
No,
it's
and we are running a
just...
little bit low on time. We will have only a minute to get this last flirt, which is doable, but we also want to fit in maybe another statue visit. We didn't bug as the ambassador was walking behind us there. It's going to be hard to finish here. Even if you find a good spot to do a hard tell, you still have to finish the flirt and go for the statues. And that could mean that going for a swap is the best play, since maybe going back to statues won't be very suspicious. It's your second visit, and that way you can do 2 missions at the same time. But the
Well, it's not
ambassador
very
and
suspicious,
Toby are on the
and
same side as us. We can't swap here. It'll be seen. We're right next to the
and
ambassador now. We could bug them here.
looks like it's being looked for. We take the flirt done. The flirt's done. We need to find the last mission here. We reject, but the ambassador walks away, and now we need to find something. Oh, we get
Now
offered
we're doing a
again.
purloin. Wow, we rejected and then we purloined. And that could just be a decision that, you have to do a mission. There's 12 seconds left, and that was the only one available, even if it gets you shot, which it did.
Yeah, and that means that the set is over. AscendBeyond takes it 7-2, maintaining that perfect sniper win rate, but does lose a couple on Spy, more than they've lost in their last 2 sets, I believe.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Well, based on what T-Flame has been saying in chat, they were quite new when this set happened. Only about 300 or so games at this point, so still pretty good considering.
yeah.
This, you after another 1,000 or 2 games, I'm sure there'll be a lot of improvement. Maybe we'll cast a later season game if we get any. There's a lot of red and obsidian.
Or, pink, I guess, is the color for drops, for forfeits, or
Yep,
do they make it black? They made it black. Oh, boo.
All right.
I like
Anyway, we're gonna move on.